world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
Good day everyone, I am Maria Jessamay Armagdasok, together with Miss Jean Palalon, Miss Jihan Macahelos, and Miss Michelle Santander. Here is our video output for Activity 1 entitled Sustainability for a Greener Future, Understanding Environmental Problems and Solutions.
Hello everyone, I'm Jin Macahelos and I'm going to discuss to you the first segment, which is environmental problems. First, we are going to identify and explain major environmental problems such as climate change, deforestation, pollution, loss of biodiversity, and water scarcity, and use visuals, charts, and real-life examples to illustrate the severity of these issues. The Earth and its people face a wide range of challenges due to the result of human activities and interactions with the natural world. These challenges are collectively known and referred to as environmental issues or problems, a state which the ecosystems author and law have collapsed. Climate change refers to long-term shifts and alterations in temperature and weather patterns, particularly a rise in global temperatures. It is the significant variation of average weather conditions becoming, for example, warmer, wetter, or drier over several decades or longer. The climatic change has been a global concern during the last few decades, and up until now, this issue is still unsolved. Human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes immensely affect climate change, although some may say that technology can be of great use to minimize the effects of human actions. Droughts are becoming longer and more extreme around the world, tropical storms becoming more severe due to warmer ocean temperature. Deforestation is when humans remove or thin forests for lumber or to use the land where the trees stood for crops, grazing, extraction, or development as the population increases and people migrate. It refers to the destruction and large-scale removal of forests for human purposes. Human makes something out of the nature, consuming even the naturals for the future generations. It takes days to clear off the forest, but years or decades to grow it back altogether, and because of this, every time it rains or there's a storm, floods are imminent. Not only that, but this action causes the animals to lose their habitats. Pollution is one of the environmental problems that the Earth is facing. It is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment that causes adverse effects to the nature. These harmful materials are called pollutants. They can be natural, such as volcanic ash, but they can also be created by human activities such as trash or runoff produced by factories. Because of this, it damages the quality of the air, water, and land. Biodiversity loss refers to the decline or disappearance of biological diversity. The decline in the number, genetic variability, and variety of species, as well as the ecological complexes in which they occur over time and typically due to human activities. It encompasses the extinction of species worldwide, as well as the local reduction or loss of species in a certain habitat, resulting in a decline in biological diversity. Habitat loss, pollution, overfishing, the introduction of exotic species, climate change, and other anthropogenic factors can all lead to biodiversity loss. Water scarcity refers to the insufficient availability of freshwater resources to meet the demands of water usage within a region. It is described as a condition where water demand exceeds over available water supply. Water scarcity can cause sewage systems to malfunction and an increase in the risk of getting diseases like cholera. Water scarcity is not unusual even in countries with adequate water resources. This may be because of a number of issues such as collapsed infrastructure and distribution systems, contamination, conflict, or inadequate management of water resources. There are water shortage in several areas of the Philippines, particularly when El Niño episodes occur. Now we are down to our second segment, wherein we are going to explore the root causes and contributors to environmental problems such as industrialization, overconsumption, greenhouse gas emissions, and sustainable agricultural practices, and explain how human activities are driving these challenges. First is industrialization, which is a transformation away from an agricultural or resource-based economy towards an economy based on mechanized manufacturing. It is usually associated with a greater average income and improved living standards. Although industrialization is meant for the betterment of the people's way of living, we can't deny the fact that it becomes a threat to our environment. The industrial waste is an all-encompassing term used to describe material considered to be no longer of use after a manufacturing process has been completed. We have several sectors of industrial manufacturing that produce waste. Human activities including the various types of factories, mining operations, textile mills, food manufacturing, consumer goods, industrial chemicals, and printing and publishing generate waste, a large portion of which is bad for the environment. Both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems are impacted by pollution from industrial operations, which includes the discharge of greenhouse gases, heavy metals, and chemicals. Overconsumption means consuming resources that we cannot replenish or that cannot sustain themselves at the rate that we are consuming them. Our ecosystem provides just enough for humans to consume in a sort of period in time, but because of harmful activities caused by humans, we overuse the natural resources of our ecosystem. Some of the root causes and contributors that greatly affect this problem are population growth, urbanization, globalization, and technical advancements. Ecosystems are unable to cope with excessive resource extraction, resulting in biodiversity loss and the deterioration of the natural world. When a resource is depleted entirely from an area, it is likely gone forever. Greenhouse gases trap heat and make the plant warmer. Almost all of the observed increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere over the past 150 years can be attributed to human activity. When fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas are burned for energy and transportation, a considerable amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases are released into the atmosphere. The issue is made worse by deforestation, which lowers the number of trees that can absorb carbon dioxide. Global warming results from these gases' ability to trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere. The consequent climate change has an impact on weather patterns, raises sea levels, destroys biodiversity, and harms human health and way of life. For unsustainable agricultural practices, because of the growing global population, there are demands for food to meet, causing industrial agriculture to adopt practices like monoculture, or a form of agriculture that is based on growing only one type of a crop at one time on a specific field. Then we have the intensive use of fertilizers and pesticides and land clearing. These practices harm soil quality, lessen biodiversity, and contaminate water supplies. Additionally, agriculture has a significant role in the release of greenhouse gases, particularly nitrous oxide from fertilized soils and methane from cattle. As you are probably aware, human activities play an important role in relation to how our natural ecosystem responds. If we fail to take care of Earth, just like how we are supposed to do, then we are going to suffer due to the consequences of our actions.
A pleasant day to each and everyone. I am Jean E. Palalon from PSET English. So now, let us proceed to segments 3 and 4, and these tackles about, for segment 3, sustainability principles, in which introduce sustainability as a solution to environmental problems, and number 2, define key sustainability principles including reducing, reusing, recycling, and responsible resource management. For segment 4, sustainable practices, in which highlight real-world examples of sustainable practices such as renewable energy sources, sustainable agriculture, green architecture, and circular economy models. And 2, showcase success stories and their positive impact on their environment. So let's proceed to segment 3, sustainability principles. Introduce sustainability as a solution to environmental problems. Sustainability is a strong option that I want to present to you today as a potential answer to the urgent environmental issues we confront. We often hear this phrase, but what exactly does it entail? And how can it help us solve our ecological worries? Let's go further into this idea by reviewing some questions and coming up with responses. What is sustainability? So sustainability refers to catering to the present requirements without jeopardizing future generations' capacity to do the same. It considers issues about the environment, society, and the economy. The crux of the matter is that we must strike a careful balance between what we take from the world and what we give back to it. Number 2, what contributions may sustainability make to the solution of environmental problems? The concept of sustainability takes an all-encompassing approach to solving environmental problems. We can lessen the damage we cause to the environment if we cut down on waste, make better use of natural resources, and embrace technology that produce less pollution. Additionally, sustainable practices motivate the preservation and restoration of ecosystems, which contributes to solving environmental issues such as habitat destruction, pollution, and deforestation. For number 3, what can people do to help advance the cause of sustainable living? The contributions of individuals significantly bolster the trend toward sustainability. In our day-to-day lives, we may make decisions that are environmentally aware, such as lowering our use of energy, minimizing our trash, and supporting companies and goods that are ecologically friendly. Our efforts will have a more significant collective effect if we also promote environmentally responsible policies and practices in our communities and place of employment. Therefore, sustainability is not only a phrase, it is an essential answer to the environmental difficulties we are now facing. We can pave the road for future generations to enjoy a healthier world and a more promising future if we incorporate sustainability into our way of life and support programs that promote sustainability. So for now, let us define key sustainability principles, including reducing, reusing, recycling, and responsible resource management. So the following is a list of the key principles of sustainability. And number 1, reducing. This concept emphasizes reducing both the use of resources and trash production. It entails doing more with fewer resources to accomplish the same task, which somebody may perform via better efficiency, conservation, and intelligent design. Number 2, reusing. Reusing objects helps to prolong their lives and minimizes the demands for fresh resources. Reusing items instead of throwing them away helps to extend their longevity. Donating clothes and gadgets and utilizing water bottles that somebody can refill is one easy way to help the environment. Number 3, the practice of recycling. So recycling is our repurposing old materials into new goods while lowering society's demand for natural resources. It is a vital step in sustainably managing garbage since it both saves energy and lessens the effect that manufacturing has on the surrounding environment. 4, responsible resource management. This concept emphasizes how to effectively use our natural resources responsibly and sustainably to prevent the depletion of resources at a rate that exceeds the rate that can be replaced naturally. It includes ethical fishing and logging practices and restrictions on exploiting resources, among other things. So these tenets serve as the cornerstone upon which sustainable living and environmental stewardship are considered. They direct us towards resource management strategy that is more eco-friendly and well-balanced. Now, let us move on to segment 4. Highlight real-world examples of sustainable practices such as renewable energy sources, sustainable agriculture, green architecture, and circular economy models. Numerous instances of sustainable practices in the real world are pointing the way toward a more sustainable future. Energy, agriculture, architecture, and even resource management in a circular economy may all benefit from these methods. Let's look at a few motivating cases. for renewable energy sources. So using renewable energy sources that includes solar, wind, and hydroelectric power is a leading example of sustainability. Transitioning to renewable energy, lowering carbon emissions, and decreasing dependency on fossil fuels are all goals that countries like Germany and Denmark have achieved with great success. Number 2, for sustainable agriculture. So sustainable agricultural practices are gaining traction in the sphere of food production. Regenerative farming practices emphasize soil health, crop diversification, and decrease chemical inputs, and groups like the Sustainable Food Trust advocate for them. This method improves plant health and yield crops that can withstand natural disasters. Number 3, green architecture. So in green architecture is positively changing the face of cities. The Bullet Center in Seattle is one example of a green building that reduces its environmental effect while offering pleasant living and working space by using solar panels, composting toilets, and rainwater collection. For number 4, which is from circular economy models. So circular economy leaders include companies like Patagonia. They promote the practice of mending and recycling among their clientele to increase the durability of items and decrease their environmental impact. The linear take, make, dispose economy is being challenged by this method. These contextual illustrations show how flexible and malleable sustainable methods can be. They illustrate that communities may enhance their economic standing and quality of life while addressing environmental concerns. So these methods may be used as examples as we go forth to create a more sustainable and peaceful world. Move on to the second topic, showcase success stories and their positive impact on the environment. Let's get into some uplifting examples of environmental success stories. So first, this is from Costa Rica's renewable energy. So Costa Rica has reached a significant milestone in the field of renewable energy. For 299 days in 2015, the nation relied entirely on hydropower and geothermal energy to power its economy. This astonishing feat proves that it is feasible for a country to drastically cut its carbon emissions by decreasing its dependence on fossil fuels. For number 2, restoration efforts on the Great Barrier Reef. Due to increasing sea temperatures, the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, one of the world's most famous ecosystems, experienced widespread coral bleaching. Coral IVF and other novel techniques have shown encouraging results. Scientists have been able to successfully produce and transplant heat-resistant coral, which is helping to restore and strengthen weakened areas of reefs. Number 3, Bhutan's carbon negative status. The tiny Himalayan nation of Bhutan is carbon neutral and negative, where carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere by the country's abundant forest cover at a greater rate than release. The way Bhutan prioritizes forest preservation and environmentally responsible policies and practices is an encouraging model for other countries to follow. Reducing plastic garbage in Rwanda. Rwanda, a landlocked African country, has made a great strides in cleaning its environment. The government's ban on plastic bags has resulted in cleaner streets and less environmental damage. The project highlights the need for solid policy choices to reduce plastic pollution. These examples of environmental progress show what can be accomplished when people, organizations, and governments all work together.
Good day, everyone. I am Michelle Santander. Let me discuss to you about segment 5. It talks about individual and collective action. Number 1. Encourage viewers to take action at both individual and collective levels. As individual level, number 1. Start small action like recycle, more use reusable bags, and conserve energy. Number 2. Educate yourself about relevant issues and learn about different organizations and non-profit that contributes towards fighting for those causes. Number 3. Encourage your friends and family to take similar action. As individual level, number 1. Start small action like recycle, more use reusable bags, and conserve energy. Number 2. Educate yourself about relevant issues and learn about different organizations and non-profit that contributes towards fighting for those causes. Number 3. Encourage your friends and family to take similar action. In collective levels, number 1, join or create a group or something that's dedicated to a specific cause. Number 2, participate in peaceful protest, rallies, or any movement that align with your values. 3. Hold conversation to spread awareness and build solidarity around that it is important. Remember that any action, however, some goes a long way towards creating a better world for one of us. Let's take action and be driving force for change. Segment 5, number 2. Provide practical tips for reducing one's environmental footprints, supporting sustainable products and businesses, and participating in environmental initiatives. Like reduce water consumption, take short shower instead of baths, fix leaky taps, and invest in low-flow toilet to reduce water consumption because water is a scarce resource and every drop counts. Also, switch to reusable bags and container instead of using single-use plastic bags and containers. Use reusable ones made of cloth, bamboo, or metal. This reduces plastic waste in the environment. To support sustainable businesses, shop locally, purchase products with minimal packing, and research companies to determine their environmental practices. Participate in environmental initiatives like join local environmental group, participate in community cleanup, and donate to organizations that support sustainable practices. Recycle and compost, sort and properly dispose and recyclable materials and compost food crops and yard waste. Choose sustainable products. Look for products made for renewable materials or recycled materials. Choose organic natural products and avoid products with harmful chemicals. Reduce meat consumption. Eat plant-based meals and reduce your meat consumption to reduce your carbon footprint.
In this enlightening journey to the world of sustainability, we've delved into the pressing environment problems our planet faces and explored innovative solutions that hold the key to a greener future. By understanding the intricacies of these challenges and embracing sustainable practices, we can collectively pave the way towards a harmonious coexistence with the Earth. It's clear that every action, no matter how small, contributes to a more sustainable tomorrow. So let's commit to change, nurture our environment, and cultivate a brighter, greener future for generations to come. Together, we hold the power to make our world a better place, one step at a time. So that concludes our video presentation about sustainability for a greener future, understanding environmental problems and solutions. Again, we are Maria Chasame Armagdaso, Jihan Macahalos, Jean Palalon, and Michelle Santander, ending our video with a quoted animation.